I would not agree to anyone to say, hey, let's tell the Diddy story and I'll tell you about how I was victimized. I wanted to tell the Shyne story. I wanted to tell the story of triumph, the story of overcoming adversity and being the victor, not the victim.
Shyne has a lot on his mind when it comes to Diddy and politics. The rapper turned politician who goes by Moses Shyne, Barrow Levi, sat down with a Hollywood Reporter for an in-depth conversation about his life and career, his fall from grace during the infamous nightclub shooting involving now disgraced music mogul Diddy, and his rise within politics, all timed to the release of his new Hulu documentary, The Honorable Shyne.
I didn't want to do the Diddy documentary. Obviously, there's a history there. He did things to me, to my family, that devastated my family. But I didn't want to tell that story. It's ironic that that story is telling itself right now as this story is coming out. Everybody that heard me wanted to sign me.
Shyne's journey began as an immigrant child who moved to Brooklyn from Belize at just 8 years old.
It started in Belize. Started watching LL Cool J and Michael Jackson in Belize as a young kid. Came to Brooklyn when I was about 8 years old. And we continued in poverty, but the poverty that we continued in, was better than Belize. This ties into my political life of what I'm trying to create in Belize, where you can go from abject poverty, but based on your work ethic, based on your talent, based on your ability, you can become, a multimillionaire at the age of 18.
The aspiring rapper quickly rose through the ranks after releasing his self-titled debut album under Sean Diddy Combs' Bad Boy Records in 2000, which reached gold status.
Def Jam wasn't really, no one was even close to Bad Boy Records at that time.
Diddy then took the young rapper under his wing. However, Shyne's promising career was quickly cut short when he was charged in a high-profile New York nightclub shooting in 1999, along with Diddy. During the subsequent trial, Shyne was convicted in 2001 and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Meanwhile, Diddy was acquitted.
I was a fall guy. I was the sacrificial lamb. You have a multi-million-dollar corporation, $100 million generating hundreds of millions of dollars for BMG. And so it was either I go to jail or Diddy, who was the CEO and, the revenue generator for the corporation. It wasn't as if we were in the club and we were acting bad or we were looking for trouble. People were aggressing. People said that, I'm gonna kill you. Someone drew a weapon and I was defending myself. So if Diddy did fire a weapon, it would have been in that context. So I'm not here to be, the person trying to crucify anyone. As I explained that to you, Diddy didn't do that for me at trial. He was like, oh, it was Shyne.
Shyne also notes that the victim of that shooting also has a different stance than the verdict.
Interestingly enough, the victim says today that Diddy shot her, but back then, she said, it was ambiguous. It was, they both started firing. But as I said, what went wrong is that it was a trial of self-defense, and we could have all stuck together, and the witnesses could have told the truth.
The rapper ended up serving close to a decade in prison, but Shyne did not give up on his music career. The artist dropped a sophomore album, Godfather Buried Alive, in 2004 while serving time.
I put out another #1 album while I was incarcerated. I think Tupac is the only one that did that.
Shyne also credits his spirituality and Judaism as his source of peace and liberation during a dark time.
My mental supremacy and mental liberation is what got me through. And so Judaism had a lot to do with that, and I'm not the first person that subscribes to Judaism that had gone through that. And what Judaism did for me was give me a blueprint of direct access to God.
Shyne was released in 2009, went back to Belize with time spent in Israel and Paris as well, but it was in Belize that he dove into politics, currently serving as a member of the House of Representatives in his native country, all of which is covered in his upcoming doc.
Everything that I worked so hard for has been taken away from me. But then you would talk to someone whose problem is what they're going to eat today. You talk to someone whose problem is their children can't go to school because they can't afford to pay the school bill. How could I bring the opportunities that I had in the United States and I see in other developed nations to my people in Belize?
He notes that it was eventually a friend that convinced him to think about politics.
I think you'd be a great leader. Not like a leader as what I am now. I didn't even imagine that at this time. But just a great political figure, a great representative. Yeah. And I said, you know what? You're right.
And now there's so much more to tell. In the next year, Belize will hold its election, and Shyne could very well become the next prime minister.
Now, as a legislator, now as hopefully the next prime minister of Belize, I can create that system that I rapped about. And I asked for the change. Now I am the change agent. Even when I was rapping as an 18-year-old kid, I wasn't rapping for me. I was rapping for all the other 18-year-old kids that had a voice, that wanted to be heard, but their voices weren't being heard. And the system was brutal to them. So that's what inspires me today.
The politician says he hopes his story serves as an inspiration for those overcoming difficult obstacles to serve a better life.
What I want to do is tell a story of indomitable soul of human beings, that no matter what we face, no matter how difficult life could be, that we all have within us the ability to persevere, the ability to thrive. I wanted to tell the Shyne story. I wanted to tell the story of triumph, the story of overcoming adversity and being the victor, not the victim.
The Honorable Shyne will debut on Hulu November 18th. For more on this interview, head to THR.com. And for the latest entertainment news and updates, keep watching the Hollywood Reporter News.